The remains of Carlo Acutis remain in a state that continues to impress, even nearly 2 decades after his passing. This phenomenon still fascinates both the faithful and experts alike. The near-perfect preservation of his body seems to defy natural laws, sparking a debate. Is it a true miracle or a success of modern preservation techniques? The question becomes even more intriguing when we consider how quickly decomposition typically occurs. Carlo's body, nearly intact, is seen by many as something beyond conventional science. But what could really be behind this extraordinary preservation? When Carlo's remains were exhumed in 2020, a significant event took place that stirred a wave of emotion. The exhumation was meant to ensure that the remains remained preserved and allowed for public display. Advanced preservation techniques were employed to guarantee the body's integrity. However, the question of whether a spiritual element is at play remains open. The details of how the body was treated and the outcome continue to fuel intense discussions. The public display of Carlo Acutis in 2020 was a major event highlighting the preservation techniques used. These techniques involved specialized substances and methods to prevent decomposition. However, the nearly perfect state of Carlo's remains continues to generate debate. Can this be explained solely through science? Many believe this preservation is a sign of a deeper reality, something beyond conventional methods. The debate surrounding the preservation of Carlo Acutis' remains is intense. Conservation experts argue that the techniques used can explain this longevity. However, many devotees see it as a divine manifestation. This phenomenon sparks the imagination and invites us to reflect on the nature of miracles and spiritual intervention. Despite the explanations offered by modern conservation techniques, the extraordinary state of Carlo's remains raises questions about the presence of a supernatural element. Advanced techniques may slow decomposition, but the body's almost intact state seems to transcend a mere technological achievement. This mystery endures, continuing to fascinate those following the case. What further revelations might emerge from this enigmatic situation? The official recognition of Carlo Acutis by Pope Francis in 2020 marked an important milestone for the Catholic Church. Pope Francis declared Carlo venerable, a clear sign that his life and virtues are acknowledged by the Church. This recognition has highlighted the importance of Carlo's life and testimony, representing a significant step in his journey toward canonization. The anticipation of Carlo Acutis' canonization in 2025 generates great enthusiasm among his devotees and the Catholic community. Canonization is the final stage of the beatification process, involving a thorough investigation of the miracles attributed to Carlo. This process is a formal recognition of his holiness and spiritual impact. Excitement grows as the date draws nearer. The beatification and canonization process of Carlo includes meticulous and rigorous investigations. Diocesan inquiries conducted in 2013 and 2018 examined the possible miracles associated with Carlo, providing essential evidence for his cause. Every detail is carefully analyzed to ensure the authenticity of the process. The investigations into the miracles attributed to Carlo Acutis are crucial for the canonization process. Each event is examined to verify its truth and connection to Carlo's life. This detailed process is fundamental to confirming Carlo's holiness and the spiritual impact he had. The path to Carlo Acutis' canonization is a prominent example of the thoroughness and attention to detail in the beatification process. The determination and care in each stage highlight the significance of this spiritual pursuit. The wait for his canonization in 2025 reflects Carlo Acutis' lasting impact and the hope that his life and testimony will inspire even more people. This detailed and scrupulous process ensures that his canonization will be a fair and meaningful recognition of his holiness. How will his influence continue in the future? Carlo Acutis was born in London and spent much of his life in Milan, where he developed a deep devotion to the Virgin Mary and a vibrant faith. His short life was marked by an intense battle with leukemia, but also by a remarkable commitment to the Church and evangelization. Carlo is remembered for his ability to live his faith in an active and inspiring way, even in the face of significant challenges. Carlo's devotion to the Virgin Mary was a central aspect of his spiritual life. He deeply believed in the importance of prayer and faith, which was reflected in his daily actions and attitudes. His devotion not only shaped his personal life, but also inspired many around him. Carlo's faith was a driving force in his life and is remembered as an example of genuine devotion. Carlo Acutis used technology in an innovative way to promote his faith and evangelization. His website on Eucharistic miracles is a notable example of how he combined his passion for technology with his religious devotion. Through his work, Carlo was able to reach and inspire many young people, demonstrating how technology can be a powerful tool for sharing the faith. What other innovations might he have explored if he had more time? His battle with leukemia was marked by unshakable courage and faith. Even in the face of suffering, Carlo maintained a positive attitude and a deep trust in God. His ability to confront adversity with such strong faith is one of the most inspiring aspects of his life. How he faced his illness speaks volumes about his spiritual strength and devotion. The legacy of Carlo Acutis is lasting and continues to influence people of all ages. His life and work remain a source of inspiration for many, showing how faith can be lived vibrantly and impactfully. The way he used technology to evangelize proves that faith can still be relevant and meaningful in the modern world. Carlo Acutis continues to inspire many young people around the world. His devotion, faith, and creative use of technology show that it is possible to live a life of holiness and purpose in the digital age. He is seen as a model for how to reconcile modern life with a deep commitment to faith. Carlo's role as a model of modern holiness is both significant and relevant. He managed to combine his passion for technology with a profound commitment to spirituality, creating an example of life that resonates with new generations. His example clearly demonstrates how faith can be authentically lived in the digital world. His legacy in integrating faith with the digital age is a crucial part of his influence. Carlo showed that it's possible to use technology to strengthen and promote spirituality, offering a model for how faith can adapt and thrive in the modern context. His work continues to influence the way faith is lived and shared. Carlo Acutis' ongoing influence is a testament to his ability to connect with new generations. His example of devotion and innovation continues to inspire young people to seek a life of faith and commitment. The impact of his life and work shows that holiness can still be relevant and inspiring in the digital age. Carlo Acutis plays a vital role in revitalizing faith practices in the modern context. His innovative use of technology and his testimony of life offer a valuable model for integrating spirituality with the contemporary world. His legacy is a source of hope and inspiration for many who seek to live faith meaningfully. Carlo Acutis' global recognition reflects the significant impact of his work in the Catholic community and beyond. His example is celebrated and admired worldwide, underscoring the relevance of his life and testimony for a global audience. Carlo's international recognition is proof of his influence and importance in both the Church and society. Carlo Acutis' work and testimony are fascinating examples of how holiness can be lived and promoted in a modern context. He knew how to combine technology and spirituality, thus offering an innovative approach to religious practice. The way he used technology continues to inspire, showing how faith can be seamlessly integrated into the digital age. The impact of Carlo Acutis on the global community is profound and enduring. His legacy is celebrated worldwide, reflecting the importance of his life and work for a diverse audience. The connection between his legacy and the contemporary need for a new approach to holiness is remarkable. What will be the next challenges to keep this legacy alive in a constantly evolving world? The relationship between Carlo's legacy and the need for a new approach to holiness is clear and meaningful. He embodies the bridge between spiritual tradition and modernity, showing how faith can remain authentic and relevant. His example offers a valuable model for how spirituality can evolve while maintaining its depth. The continued recognition of Carlo Acutis as a model of modern holiness invites reflection on the relevance of faith in today's world. His legacy offers an inspiring perspective on integrating spirituality with technology and everyday life. Carlo's influence continues to motivate and inspire many on their spiritual path. The phenomenon of Carlo Acutis' body preservation attracts not only the faithful but also the scientific community. The almost perfect preservation of his body, nearly 2 decades after his death, raises fascinating questions. Scientific studies and lab analyses have played a key role in understanding this remarkable phenomenon. Scientists have conducted various investigations to understand the factors contributing to the preservation of Carlo's remains. Microbiological analyses have revealed extremely low levels of microbial activity, suggesting that the controlled environment could be crucial. Datimetry techniques and chemical composition studies have also been used to analyze the interaction between the tissues and conservation methods. Another crucial aspect is the analysis of the materials and methods used during the exhumation and preservation. Modern techniques, such as the use of conservatory substances and controlled environments, have been carefully examined. These methods have shown significant results, but the question of whether the preservation can be fully explained by these techniques or if there is a supernatural component remains debated. The scientific results have profound implications for how this phenomenon is perceived. For some, the preservation of Carlo's remains is seen as a sign of authentic holiness, supported by scientific evidence that strengthens belief in divine intervention. For others, the explanation lies in advanced conservation techniques. The ongoing tension between faith and science continues to fuel both academic and religious debates. The preservation of Carlo Acutis' remains stands out due to its remarkable preservation, but how does it compare to other famous cases of saints whose bodies have remained intact? Comparing these cases offers a rich perspective on the methods of preservation and the factors involved. One of the most well-known cases is that of Saint Pio of Pietrelcina, or Padre Pio, whose body has remained well preserved since his death in 1968. The preservation of Padre Pio's remains is attributed to meticulous techniques, as well as possible divine intervention. The embalming methods were carefully applied, but the veneration surrounding his figure also feeds into the belief in a miracle. Another intriguing example is that of Saint Bernadette Soubirous, the visionary of Lourdes. Her body is preserved in a glass urn with a controlled environment, using specific techniques to prevent deterioration. How does this method contrast with the one used for Carlo Acutis? The preservation of Carlo Acutis' remains is fascinating, but it's only one aspect of the diverse practices surrounding sacred bodies. Approaches and techniques vary, revealing a world rich in traditions and beliefs. While some cases of preservation are directly tied to miracles, others are examined through the lens of modern science. Similarities between these preservation cases include the use of advanced methods and the deep devotion of believers. However, each case is unique, with cultural practices and contexts influencing the perception of these phenomena. Some see preservation as proof of a miraculous event, while others view it as the result of sophisticated techniques. The preservation of Carlo Acutis' remains transcends simple religious boundaries, also encompassing cultural and regional aspects. According to local beliefs, this preservation can be seen as a sign of sanctity or a miracle. In Italy, for instance, the preservation is viewed as a validation of his life and spiritual impact. In Italy, where Carlo was born and lived, the reaction is marked by enthusiasm and celebration. Pope Francis, having recognized Carlo as venerable in 2020, has played a crucial role in promoting his figure. For Italian Catholics, Carlo is a living example of modern sanctity and innovation in evangelization. His beatification is eagerly awaited. On an international level, the reception of Carlo can vary greatly. In the United States, where religious diversity is prominent, leaders from other Christian traditions and non-Christian religions approach his legacy with more of an academic interest than enthusiastic admiration. For Protestants and evangelicals, the veneration of saints may not hold the same weight. How does this difference in perception affect the magnitude of his influence? In Latin America, reactions are welcoming and enthusiastic, similar to those seen in Italy. Carlo's legacy is celebrated as a confirmation of faith in a modern context. Religious leaders often highlight his example as a way to engage young people and revitalize religious practice. In Asia and Africa, responses may be more measured, reflecting the diversity of religious traditions and beliefs. Attitudes towards the preservation of Carlos remains vary, influenced by diverse cultural and religious contexts. In countries where Catholicism is less present, the recognition of Carlo Acutis may spark curiosity without fully integrating into the local context. However, with globalization and growing access to information, Carlo's figure is beginning to be recognized beyond the traditional borders of Catholicism. The life and legacy of Carlo Acutis are spreading significantly on social media and in pop culture. This phenomenon demonstrates a growing popularity that transcends religious boundaries, reaching a broader audience. Carlo's presence on these platforms is becoming more pronounced, but how does this visibility translate into the real world? On social media, Carlo has become an influential figure, thanks to pages, profiles, and hashtags dedicated to celebrating his life and teachings. The spreading of his story, along with videos and images related to his beatification, stirs great interest and admiration. Digital influencers often present him as an example of the alliance between faith and modernity, thus inspiring a new generation. Pop culture also plays a crucial role in spreading Carlo's figure. Documentaries, films, and books explore his life and legacy with great enthusiasm. The film Like the Lightning, 2020, tells Carlo's story in a way that resonates with modern audiences, combining inspiring visual storytelling with spiritual impact. This cultural presence demonstrates how Carlo's story resonates beyond religious circles. This growing visibility in pop culture and on social media solidifies Carlo's image as a modern icon of sanctity. His message of faith and devotion reaches audiences that might not traditionally engage with religion. Does the way his story is presented on digital platforms help create a legacy that is both contemporary and spiritual? The recognition of Carlo Acutis is influencing spiritual renewal movements worldwide, offering a refreshing perspective on modern sanctity. His life and example have prompted a re-evaluation of religious practices, especially among young people and those seeking a deeper connection with spirituality. Spiritual renewal movements often focus on the authenticity and resonance of spirituality in today's world. Carlo, with his innovative use of technology to promote faith, shows how tradition and modernity can come together. He has become a symbol of how technology can be a powerful tool for evangelization. In various religious circles, Carlo is seen as an example of living faith that is relevant to modern times. His methods of digital evangelization, such as his website on Eucharistic miracles, are studied as models for effective spiritual communication. Could this renewed interest in technology within religious practice pave the way for new spiritual innovations? Moreover, Carlo's life inspires movements seeking to revitalize spirituality through simplicity and authenticity. His battle with leukemia and his fervent devotion are seen as examples of the deep meaning found in a life of faith, even in the face of challenges. How does this inspiration motivate individuals to seek greater authenticity in their own spiritual journeys? Carlo Acutis' impact on spiritual renewal movements shows how modern figures can influence and inspire religious practice. His influence continues to grow, shaping the future of spirituality in a constantly evolving world. What future paths for spirituality might emerge thanks to his example?